Okay, so the problem is these are the stock Traxxas A-arms. But if you got the RPM A-arms for the Revo, the problem is, see that little nudge right there? That little nudge right there is where the threads sit from the pivot ball screws into there, and the threads sit right up in that nudge. And on the stock A-arms, they're set just right to where when you screw the pivot ball in, it stops the pivot ball where it needs to be stopped, and it sets all of them correctly where your camber and toe and everything is just right. But if you're using the RPM arms, just pretend like these are the RPM arms. This little nudge is a lot longer. It goes further up into the A-arm, so it allows the pivot ball to screw a lot further up into the A-arm, or you don't know how tight to tighten it in there. So you can leave them loose. If you leave it too loose, you'll have problems like your camber and toe will be all out of whack. Plus, if you're using axles like that right there, the axles will pop out, the dog bone will pop out of the drive cup. So what you want to do is, you want to take your axle carrier off. You want to take the pivot ball caps off. Take the pivot balls out. Undo the push rod that goes to the rocker arm. Undo the toe link. And if it's the front or if it's the rear, undo the toe link. And you want to have it all taken apart just like this. Next, you can do two different things. You can get you a Sharpie marker, and what you want to do is you want to mark, dadgummit, I keep dropping them, hold on. You want to draw a black line right there against the threads, where the threads meets this slick part. You want to draw a line all the way around it. You can do that, or you can take your rocker arms off the Revo, take the rocker post off, which this right here is the rocker post, and see how the rocker post is the exact same length as the slick part on the pivot ball. That's what you want. So you can take the rocker post off or do the Sharpie method. And what you want to do is grab your axle carrier, get your pivot ball. If you're using the blue dust boots, it's a lot harder. That's why you make the black line, or that's why you use the rocker post. But if you don't run the dust boots, it's a lot easier to do this with the RPM arms. But what you want to do is screw the pivot ball through the dust boot all the way down, and push the dust boot while you're screwing it. Push the dust boot down even further. So now we can see where the black Sharpie mark is. And what you want to do is go ahead and slide your axle into the center of the axle carrier. Now you want to line it up to screw the pivot ball into the A-arm. So now I'm going to screw the pivot ball into the A-arm. And you're going to stop. If you're doing the Sharpie method, you're going to stop right there where the threads meets the slick part, where the black line is. Or if you're using the rocker post deal, just stick your rocker post in right there and make sure, tighten the pivot ball all the way down to your rocker post is stuck in between perfectly, touching the A-arm and touching the axle carrier. And that's got the pivot balls taken care of. Now go ahead and get the bottom pivot ball and do the same thing. Screw it through the dust boot. Hold on, let me get you a better angle. Screw it through the dust boot. Push it down past the slick part. Stick it into the A-arm. Screw it in. You can go ahead and get your rocker post and stick right there. And stop when it touches both sides. Pull the rocker post out. Now this is the important part. That should have both your cambers set correctly. Now you want to get one of the caps, and you want to go ahead and start tightening it in. Let's go ahead and pull that axle through a little bit. But you want to tighten the pivot ball cap down. Tighten it down all the way until, see, we got the toe link undone and we got the push rod undone. So the axle carrier should be, the A-arms and the whole assembly should be able to move up and down. But since we tighten that pivot ball cap all the way, tighten it all the way till it will not move. It moves just a little bit, but that's because it's got slop and play in the suspension setup. But tighten it down till it will not go up and down at all. Now what you want to do is you want to barely slightly undo it. Start loosening in the pivot ball cap. Loosen it until it can move up and down and it can turn side to side freely. But if you loosen it too much, see how I can pull the axle carrier away from the A-arm and there's play in it? You don't want that. That's bad. That'll make your tires and wheels wobbly and it'll perform really bad. It'll burn your steering servo up and your tires and wheels won't be aligned correctly. You want to loosen it where it'll move up and down and turn side to side if it's the steering. If it's the rear, it won't be turning this way. But you want to loosen it till it goes up and down and side to side just enough, but you don't want it to move in and out like that. If it moves in and out like that, you loosen it too much. But if it don't move, see I'm pulling on it, it's not moving in and out, that's set correctly, that's properly. Now you want to do the same thing to the top pivot ball cap. You got to do one at a time to get the pivot ball set correctly. If you don't get this right, your suspension won't perform correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. We're going to tighten it all the way down. Tighten it down till it will not go up and down no more. And it will not turn side to side. Now we're going to barely loosen it just a tad. See, it's starting to move a little bit and it goes up and down. But once you move it up, it won't drop on its own. So that we know that's too tight. So we want to loosen it a little bit more. So we loosen it just a little bit more. Now it drops correctly. It turns side to side. Let's see if it's got play in it. Nope, there's no play in it. So now the pivot ball is set correctly. Now you can reattach your push rod and you can reattach your toe link and put the rest of the tire and wheel back on. And just do that same exact method for all the other sides, axle carriers and pivot balls. I hope this video helps. And if anybody wants me to make a video about something or wants to get in touch with me or talk to me, I don't know why, but I can't get my comments turned on YouTube, so you can't leave comments. I'm so sorry about that. But if you want to get in touch with me, just look me up on Facebook, Chris Kenna, CHRISKENNA. And it's the picture of me and my little girl on a bicycle. And you can talk to me on Facebook. And if you want me to make a video about you or send me something to work on or just talk to me, I'm free. You message me anytime. I don't always check Facebook, so it might take me some time to get back with you, but I'll try my best to keep an eye out on it. Alright, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.